Hi everyone, welcome back to Codeville Web Development Series. This is episode 6 and today we are diving into HTML formatting. Before we jump in, make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And if this is your first time here, I highly recommend starting from episode 1 in our playlist. You don't want to miss the foundation we've built so far. Now, a quick introduction before we start the lesson. HTML formatting is all about structuring and styling the text and contents in your web pages. And it helps you make your text bold, italic, underline, or even highlighted. And it also allows you to control headings, paragraph, lists, and so on, so that your content is readable and visually organized. Proper formatting not only makes your web page look professional, but it also improves user experience. So in this episode, we'll be exploring the main HTML formatting tags, see examples of how they work, and learn how to apply them in real web pages. So let's get started. So let's go to our VS Code. Let's open our VS Code. You already have it there. Okay, so let's go to our browser. Let's save this. I think we don't have anything yet in our browser. Let's go. Open your HTML. Okay. We just open this. Okay, you can see it's empty. So let's go back to our VS Code and start with the episode 6, which is the HTML text formatting. So HTML contains several elements for defining text with special meanings. So maybe I think let's go straight to the formatting elements now, the HTML formatting elements. So formatting elements were designed to display special types of texts. We have the bold text, the important text, the italic, emphasized, marked, smaller, deleted, inserted, subscript, superscript, and so on. So the first HTML elements we are going to discuss, or we are going to learn today, is the HTML B and strong element. So let's start with the B element. So the HTML B element defines bold text without any extra importance. So I think let's give an example of this. So let's say I'm opening a P here, and I want to say this text is normal. So let me open another P element and say this text is bold. Now I have two P elements. Let's view this. You can see this text is normal, this text is bold. Although this text is normal, the first is normal, but the second is not bold. So that is where we use the B element. So what we need to do is come right here. I'm going to take this text off for this second. So I'm going to use the B elements that we talked about. So I'm going to use the B, and I'll place my text right in between the opening tags of the PB and the closing tag of the BP. Okay, so let's save this and go to our browser. So you can see now we have the first text, which says this text is normal. Then the second, which says this text is bold. Yes, we can now see that the first is normal and the second is bold. So that is for the B element. So for the strong elements, the HTML strong elements. So the strong element, that's the HTML strong element, define text with strong importance. The content inside is typically displayed in bold as well. So same example with this. So let's say we open a P. So we are going to open a strong as well. And let me say this text is important. So remember we said the content inside is typically displayed in bold. So same thing applies. It's going to display in bold. You can see. Now this text is bold. First, this text is normal. This text is bold. This text is important. So the important one is displaying as bold as well. So that's where, that's because we use the strong element. So the next is the HTML I and the EM elements. The I and the EM elements. So let's talk about the HTML I elements. So the I element defines a part of text in an alternate voice or mood. The content inside is typically displayed in italic. So okay, this is what we mean. So let's say P. We said the I element defines a part of text. So we are going to open the I element. So let's place our text and say maybe this text is okay, let me say this text is italic. This text is italic. So we say it's going to display in italic, to be displayed in italic. So you can see this text is italic. Why? Because we use the I element. So for the EM element, that's the HTML EM elements, it defines emphasized text. And the content inside is typically displayed in italic as well. So this is what we mean. So I'm going to have same P elements, and this time I'm going to have EM, which is emphasize. And let's say this text is emphasized. Okay, so like I said, the content inside is typically displayed in italic too as well. So you can see. So one is italic. One is italic. That's as a text. Then the other is emphasized too as a text. Just like we have the B element and we have the strong element. So we have the I element and the EM element. So now let's talk about the small elements, the HTML small elements. So the small elements define smaller text just from the name, you know, as the name implies, small. So meaning the text is going to be small. So let's open the P and open our small. So here, let's say this. Let's say this is what do we write? This is some smaller text. Okay. So let's save this and view. So you can see the text is actually smaller, way smaller than the rest. It's not normal. You can see the normal text. You can see the smaller text here. So that is it for the small elements. Okay. Then we have the HTML mark elements. So the mark elements define text that should be marked or highlighted. For example, you want to mark a text. So you use the HTML mark element to do that. So for example, let's still make use of the P element. Then let's say we said mark, right? So mark, and let's find something to write from the mark. Okay, so right in between the P opening of P tag and the opening of mark tag, let's write something there like do not forget to buy. Then right in between the opening of the mark and the closing of the mark tag, let's say milk. Then in between the closing of the mark tag and the closing of the P tag, let's say today. Now let's read this. Do not forget to buy milk today. So you can see the milk is being marked. So let's see how it's going to display. So you can see, do not forget to buy milk. You can see the milk is marked. So that is it for the mark element, the HTML mark element. Then we have the DEL, which is the del elements, HTML del elements. So the HTML del elements, DEL elements, you can see that, defines text that has been deleted from a document. So browsers will usually strike a line through deleted texts. So this is what we mean by saying it defines a text that has been deleted. So okay, example, open the p tag. Okay, let me say my favorites. Okay, sorry. My favorite color is blue, red. Yeah, blue, red. Now, I can only have one favorite color, either blue or red. So, for example, I want to delete the blue color or the text here. So, to use the del elements, I just simply put the del elements, the del tag, the red content in between the del tags. So like this, just like we have the mark. So now we say my favorite color is, meaning the blue has been deleted. Then it's going to show my favorite color is red. Now the blue is also going to be displayed by the browser because it's part of the element content, but because it's right in between the DEL tags, it's going to be striked out. The browser will usually strike a line through the deleted text. Now let's see this. Okay, you can see my favorite color is red. So now the blue has been striked. So this is what we mean by using the DEL tag, HTML DEL elements. So also we have the INS elements. So the HTML INS element defines a text that has been inserted into a document. So this time browsers usually underline inserted texts. For example, we have the P element. So what do we say? Okay, I'm still going to make use of my favorite color is blue red. So I'll say my favorite color is blue red. Okay, so what actually are we going to do here? What we are going to do is just similar to what we did with the DEL elements. So right in between, let's take this blue out, and then I'm going to use the INS. Like I said, the INS. So I'm going to use, okay, I think let me have both the blue. Now, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to make it more interesting. We're going to use both the DEL elements and also the INS elements. Yes, we explained the DEL elements earlier. So I'm just going to put this, meaning this is deleted, blue is deleted, then red is inserted. It makes sense. So INS, blue is deleted, red is inserted. So what we're going to have now is my favorite color is, blue will be striked, then the red will be inserted, which means it will be underlined. So let's save this and go to our browser view. You can see my favorite color is blue, which is striked, deleted, red, which is underlined, inserted. So now, this is how we use the INS element, which is the HTML INS insert element. Okay, then let's move to the HTML sub elements. sub element, sub elements. So the HTML sub element defines subscripts. Yeah, it's subscript text. So subscript text appears half a character below the normal line and is sometimes rendered in a smaller text or smaller fonts. Let me put it that way. So subscript text can be used for chemical formulas like H2O. So D2, that's a subscript because it appears below the normal text. So for example, let's quickly do something here. Okay, let's open a P and say this is. Now let's open a subscript. Say sub, and right there, let's say subscripted text. This is subscripted text. Now the subscripted is going to appear below. Okay, you can see this is subscripted. Like we said, it's going to appear below the normal and it's going to look smaller in appearance. So this is how to use the subscript. So how about the superscript there? That's quite the opposite of the subscript. So for the superscript, just like the subscript, the superscript defines elements or defines superscript text. Yeah. So and it appears half a character above the normal line and is sometimes rendered in a smaller font as well. So we can use superscript texts for footnotes. Yes, we can use that for footnotes. So for example, let's say P, I'm going to make use of the same example. This is superscript now, SUP, not SUB now. So here I'm going to say superscripted. So this is superscripted text. So let's save this, and here you can see one is subscripted, the other is superscripted. So for the subscripts, yeah, we say H2. Let's just write something like that here. Sorry. Let me give another example for the subscripts. So P. I said H2, right? So H. Now open your sub. 2. Close your sub. And O. So save. You can see H2O. So this is how we use some of the HTML formatting elements. Text formatting, the HTML text formatting. And let me quickly summarize this. First is the B elements, which is the B within the B tags. The tag B defines bold texts. The tag EM, let's go to our code. The tag EM, it defines emphasized texts. The tag I defines a part of text in an alternate voice or mood. Then the small tag, that's the HTML small tag, defines smaller text. The strong defines important text. The SUB, which is the sub, defines subscripted text. The SUP defines superscripted text. Then the INS defines inserted. The DEL defines deleted. The mark defines marked or highlighted text. So you can take your time, go through this, and if you have any question, you can drop it in our comment section. And okay, that being said, that wraps for episode 6 of our Codeville Web Development Series. So okay. So if you enjoyed this lesson, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. And also don't always remember, If if you are just joining us, like I said earlier on, please you can catch up on all the previous episodes from episode 1 in our playlists. So next time we will dive in deeper into the HTML. So stay tuned and keep practicing what you've learned today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.